And we are back once again. Let's go. Still Knick fans. Episode number 19. We in the building.
And we're live.
And we are live. I'm your man, Ron, and that's my brother, John. The live edition. Let's go, people.
Let's go. Clap it up. Clap it up. Let's go.
What's happening?
New level here.
Thanks
to our engineer, Jose, for putting us in the right place at the right time, getting it all together. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Taking it to bigger and better levels for us, man. We keep progressing each time, trying to add something new wrinkles for the viewers out there.
Yeah, facts. So,
hey,
we're one game removed.
Hey, listen,
back at it.
Look, that's how it is, man. That's how I want all my teams to play. A little 9-game winning streak, 1 loss, back to winning again. Let's go.
That's it. Look at that. We had that comeback game. We had a loss against a really good Phoenix team. We come back around. We get the win. Let's start a new streak. Let's get it going. This is going to be the toughest task. This is going to be where we either find ourselves or lose ourselves. This is going to be that stretch of games. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to it.
That is a fact. I too am. I can't wait to see what's going to be the next big piece for the Knicks, man. Because my whole thing is, I'm thinking, now that teams are seeing how intense the Knicks defense is, I'm trying to basically picture how they're going to make their adjustments. Because even with just like with a good offense, with a good defense, there's certain patterns, there's certain things that you can see a team doing. So I want to know how teams are going to start making, at least the better teams, how they're going to start making the adjustment towards the Knicks defense, because it's smothering. So there's only so much you can do, but I'm sure they can see how the Knicks rotations are moving. Maybe they want to set stuff up so that maybe if the ball rotates one way and whoever your guy is, maybe Barrett's the rotator this way, but you don't want to do that. You want to rotate the other way so you get another defender. Just look little nuances of how they play the game.
Yeah, no doubt. That's definitely. I think the good thing that we have is that, to our favor, is that we haven't really seen a lot of these teams. We probably have seen, because this is like a West Coast swing, and so during this West Coast trip, we're going to see teams that we haven't seen before. So it's kind of good for us because we play a different caliber defense than most of these teams have seen before. But also they're a lot talented. there's a lot of talent in the West, and those teams are superb in comparison to the East. So we see how we turn out. I mean, we faced the Grizzlies a couple of times, so I think that's about the only team that we've seen a couple of times before, and we're going to see them once more during the stretch. And I think we're going to play them pretty well. But looking forward to see how we stand up against other teams in the West.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself.
Yeah.
But I definitely am thinking the same thing. I want to see what happens, what they do,
Right.
But I want to make sure that we get these next couple games, taken care of first before we worry about those big boys, because that's most important, man. Getting right.
Got to get right. That's right. I mean, we got fat. Now we just got to get right. So I think we're on the same page. Yeah. So how'd you like this last week? This past game was this past Wednesday. We had the Bulls game. What were your thoughts about it? How did you like the bounce back?
It's exactly what I thought it was going to be, man. I thought that the Knicks had already played the Bulls 2 times. First time, the Bulls was hitting on all cylinders. They were firing. We couldn't really stop them. They were basically matching Julius. And Julius was on fire that game too. But Markkanen was on fire, and Levine was doing his thing. Then the next time we played them, it was one of those where we played pretty good basketball, but we made some mistakes and stuff down the stretch. So it wasn't a clean game. This game, this is what I was expecting, that now the Bulls get to see how the Knicks are playing now. And it's a difference. You could tell.
Yeah, because we're gelling at the right time, and you can see all the work that they put in, you know what I mean, throughout the entire season, even during practices, like it's starting to show up defensively, offensively. They knowing, the players are knowing where they need to be in their spots. They're hitting their shots. This is the biggest thing. Like we're hitting the shots that we were missing early on, especially when like the 3-point range shots. We weren't shooting a high clip, and now we're shooting a pretty decent percentage. We're back to where we needed to be. Yeah, man, I just love the enthusiasm. I love the kind of like camaraderie the team is bringing, game in and game out. And you see just collectively they're playing defense. They're attacking the ball. They're not giving up any easy buckets. Look at that. Oh man,
yeah, no, look at that. Man. Come on, baby. Woo! As the youngins say these days, sheesh.
I see you, Ron.
Yeah, so, man. Listen, this is great, bro. It feels like watching a totally different team, man. Like it's the same team, but there's just something different about them.
There's a different aura too, and I think just being in being at home and playing at home in the Garden, and the having the fans there, is just giving them a little bit extra boost. You know what I mean? I know the players are looking at it and saying, I couldn't imagine if this time during, if they were opened up and there were 30,000 fans in the stadium or 24,000 fans in the stadium, how the stadium will be rocking. You know what I mean? I know they're thinking about it, because with 2,000 is strong. Can you imagine? So it's gonna be epic once they start opening that door. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, man. I can't wait to see what's gonna go on, man. I'm still a little worried about this whole COVID situation. But it is what it is, man. Hopefully we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do? We do what we can do. But I think for right now, we got so much going on. The team is playing well. Who was your standouts? Who was your standouts for this game?
Definitely Julius Randle.
Yeah,
that's without question. I like the way RJ played. I like. Wow, there was I'm thinking about this a lot, bro.
So many really good plays.
Played good. Nerlens played good. Rose played like Rose. Man.
It was just an overall team effort. Bullock like played everybody
good. Played good.
Yeah. Yep. I just like the way they really didn't let any particular player like destroy him. You know what I mean? Like there was not one particular player from the Bulls who took over the game. They were kind of like all over. Like White was turning over the ball a lot. Like there was just a lot of, you know, on their end, they just didn't seem to really get to a place where they were really comfortable playing their type of basketball, and the Knicks took full advantage of that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
super,
no,
super good, enjoyable
I
game to
agree.
watch. You know what
And
I mean?
I think, see, I get a little confused now because I've been watching so many Nick games, and I was rewatching the Toronto game. Did Obi do something good in this one?
Obi played good minutes. I mean, you know, it wasn't unspectacular, but you know,
Yeah, I couldn't remember. Yeah, because I was recently watching that Toronto game. Obi was getting busy.
Obi, that was his kind of best game, I think, of the season so far. But like I said, I mean, he played decent minutes. Everyone played their minutes. I mean, Taj is Taj. You know, Taj does his thing. You know, but just like look at the highlights. You know, love seeing Obi top and run the floor, get in front of the, you know, on a fast break. You know, he's got that speed, athleticism, and hops. So you got to enjoy seeing those things. You know, as a Knicks
Yeah,
fan.
yeah. No, we got a little action going on in the
We
chat
got
right
action
now.
in the chat. Oh, that's dope. That's
Mark
dope.
Alvarado said Quickly's fourth was crazy. Yes, it
Yeah,
was. Yes, it
yeah. He started
was.
lining it up.
Yeah, man. No, it Quickly is, as I said, yo, this 9-game win streak Quickly got right. I think he's got his second win.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shout out to Mark, man, for tuning in. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. And Iceberg the Gamer says, "Stop picking on my Bulls."
gotta do it. We
Hey,
gotta do it.
man.
Gotta do it.
Listen, I've been a Knick fan, since I was a young pup, and I watched Jordan destroy us so many years. I'm just happy anytime the Knicks beat the Bulls, man. I'm sorry.
Listen, we had to
don't
take
don't
advantage
hate
of
me.
it this year. Look, I'm even wearing a Jordan joint for you. There you go. I got a Jordan joint on. But you see,
Yeah, man.
Knicks over the
Listen.
top of the Jordan. Knicks on top of
We
the
on cloud
Bulls.
nine right now. Come on, man. Let us get that smoke. We want all the smoke.
We want all the smoke this year. It seems crazy, right, to say that, but we do. We're looking forward to
No,
these playoffs.
it's great. It's a fantastic time, man. I'm really happy that they're playing well. It's a weird feeling. I guess when you're a fan of bad teams, after a while, I'm so happy for them to be appreciated by other people. That's what I
Yeah.
look at.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yo, I want to give a quick shout out though to all our fam that's coming on and viewing right now from Williamsburg houses. You know, appreciate you, appreciate the love,
Yes.
man. Appreciate the love. You know,
In
we
the
stand
building,
up.
Williamsburg. Thank you for tuning in, man. We appreciate all y'all. Y'all have been kind of. I want to say I consider y'all day ones because since we've been starting this thing, we've been trying to push to get our podcast out there and get more people to watch it. But as that process has been going, you guys have been the constant. So thank you for always being there and continuing to watch us put some Nick content out there.
Yeah, yeah, facts. That's what's up, man. But yeah, I don't. It's it's funny because we coming on live on like a 1 game stretch, right? Because we already pulled. We had we had recorded another show, and we talked about kind of a win streak that we had, and then we lost. We had a 3-game win streak following, and then we lost to the Phoenix Suns, and now we're coming on right after, just because we wanted to lock in after this 1 game to see if we can go live, to test it out, to test out the waters, to see how we do,
Right.
and just generate some just something a little different, than the norm. The idea is that we go on live during playoff time, because right now we already know we already clinched the playoffs. So like for me and Ron, we were thinking, okay, what's the next step? Should we start going live during playoffs? And I think that's the next play. So this is kind of our first attempt at going live, seeing what it looks like, seeing how it feels, and thankful for we're super thankful for everyone jumping on at this point in time. But
Yeah, definitely appreciate you guys.
send any questions or comments now that we have the chat going
hold
live.
on.
What do y'all want to hear?
I got something on the chat percolating
Okay.
here. What Iceberg the Gamer said, I hate the Knicks, still got to show love.
Nice.
Listen,
Okay.
we appreciate you, brother. Loved it. Love that. We also got Alan Taylor, SKF Live, Knicks in the building. Okay. All right, all
Yeah.
right. We got I got a couple questions here too. One from Prophet the Avaricious. What is that? The Aborigines. I can never say that
Aborigines.
right. I'm just gonna call him Prophet. Okay. Yeah. Do you think a Knicks Hawks matchup would be tough for Knicks? It's a good question. What do you think about that, John? You want to answer that?
I personally think, in my opinion, we got their number. I know some say that we would have probably lost the last game because Trae Young was firing on all cylinders. But for me, I think if you give Coach Tibbs enough time to just lock in on one team, we have the upper hand at that point. You know, especially a team like the Hawks, who are fairly young, kind of similar style play. You know, they're a more fast-paced team, but they got the young and they got a little bit of veteran play, but I think they're younger than we are. So I think we have the edge when it comes to a one-on-one matchup against the Hawks. So I'm not too scared of the Hawks. Now, if you were to say another team, you know, if you were to say a team like the Sixers or a team like the Bucks, then I'll be a little bit more concerned. Even the Celtics will, you know, for a team like that who's been there before, that's a team that kind of scares me a bit. But I think the way this year's gone, you know, I wouldn't be surprised that we lock in on all cylinders and we get past the first round of the playoffs. I'm looking forward to getting past the first round of the playoffs with this team.
Yeah, and I want to say that personally, I agree with you. I think the Knicks know how to play the Hawks. I think the only thing the Knicks would ever have to worry about with the Hawks is if everybody is like really out the gate shooting threes, because the three ball can sometimes bite the Knick defense. So, but if it's just a normal game where it's not like some abnormal amount of 3-point shots being made, yeah, I think they should be fine against the Hawks. But I will say, looking at that Hawk roster and the way they've been playing lately, they're loaded, and they just got
they're
done.
A good team.
They're loaded, so
they're a good team, and like,
watch.
but that's a team that isn't going to surprise us, right? Because we've seen them 3 times already, you know, and we see them again. Then we already tested, you know, we know what they bring. So if it was a team that we didn't really play that much, or we haven't played in quite some time, then I would be concerned. But a team like, you know, the Hawks, we just seen them. We know what they bring. They have a lot of firepower. They're young. They're athletic. They run the court well. I just think that the Knicks have their number.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. Got some other questions in here. And let me just say, I'm just messing around. Prophet is like one of my best friends, like a brother. I'm just messing around with his name. He's a homie. We also got another one of my bros is up in here too. Chris Long. What up, Chris? He said, do you think Quickly should win Rookie of the Year?
Look, he's up for that discussion right now. So I'm hoping that he gets at least, you know, in that discussion a little bit more. I haven't really, like, there's bits and pieces, you know, like there's spots of him being talked about, but I don't know if they're really talking about Quickly like that outside of New York. You know what I mean? Outside of New York, it seems like they're speaking about other players. So I think he should he should be there. I think he's played well enough, in my opinion. But again, sort of biased.
I mean, my whole thing is, I think that if we were just looking at his basketball play when the season first started, then I would definitely think he has to be one of the top choices to be in the running. However, I would say I think that stretch of games where he kind of hit the rookie wall really hurt his prospects towards a Rookie of the Year vote, because there's other rookies that have been playing a little bit more consistently, and maybe they bring a little bit
more minutes too, though. They're playing more minutes. Some of them are starting. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so it's a little different. But this last game of stretches, though, and when you think about the last 3 games,
good again, yes.
You know, but, like, you know,
the other thing back. about Quickly is, unfortunately for him, but fortunately for the team, the Knicks as a team are playing much better basketball, and a lot more guys are contributing. So the focus is not as much on Quickly to do certain things. He's just filling his role. before we were
he was
looking
winning
to him
games.
for offense. Yeah,
He was winning games
yeah.
for us. Right.
Yeah. So it's a good thing and a bad thing for him individually, but it's a great thing for the team. So
Yeah. Listen, I would like at least a nod. At the very least,
yeah,
give him a nod. Put him in the discussion, and then let's
put him
see.
in the discussion. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Um,
Yeah, man.
what else we got here? He also said y'all don't want to see Charlotte in the playoffs. Whatever. We eat them
Oh,
boys
I
up.
actually do. That's one of those teams that I actually do want to see in the playoffs, just because, you know, that's one of those teams that is like you want to get at a team like that because they're very similar to us, right? Like all the way through. They're very similar team. They're well coached, and it's like, okay, this is like a battle test game. If we get past the team like the Hornets, who are trying to rise the same way we are, and we get to that next level, that's like a next level chapter game, right? Okay, we turned the page. Now we moved on from that sort of, head to head. That could become a sort of rivalry too. And then because other teams aren't really looking at us that way, like especially commentators, they aren't looking at the Knicks as an elite East team. They're looking at us and saying, oh, they're making noise and they got the fourth seed, but they aren't looking at us like they were looking at the Celtics 2 years ago or a year ago, you know what I mean? Or the Sixers or the Bucks, So until we beat teams until we get over that hump and beat a team in the playoffs like Charlotte, that will kind of be the turning of the page in my opinion,
No, you may be right. Oh man. Yeah, no, let's just shout out to Iceberg, the gamer, once again. Thanks for tuning in, brother. He had the row. But thank you for coming on, bro. Appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man. I do understand that I think going back to the Hawks, I think people are looking at the Hawks as our competition. Like that's the possible first round matchup for us.
See, I see the Hornets as the comp. I don't, I see it the opposite. I don't see it as the Hawks. I see it as the Hornets. I think the Hornets give us more trouble than the Hawks do. Just because of they got more of a gritty type of play. You know what I mean? Where the Hawks are more flashy, they're up tempo. You can slow a team like that, especially when they're shooting poorly. If they're shooting poorly, we pretty much got them. You know what I mean? Where the Hornets, they can shoot it poorly, but still with a point guard like Rozier and a few other players that they got, they can get a little gritty. So that's a team to be careful with for sure. But I think we can win that.
Bridges is explosive, dude.
Yeah, he could come with a couple of games, and then now we're looking at I think that's a more competitive game for the Knicks. I think the Knicks
and they also have they've got Hayward. So and Hayward's like one of those. I guess I give him a little bit more of a veteran nod.
But is he back? Because I know he was injured.
Oh no, but I think he will be for for playoff time. So that's why I'm saying like he's the kind of like a little bit of an X factor,
right?
Because he's like a guy who's been there and seen playoff action.
And plus, when he played this, when the last time we seen him, he did us really dirty. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, he did.
If he comes back, I'm sure he's trying to, he's ready to go. Especially against the New York Knicks team. But again, that's the team that I think that's the big matchup. If we were to run into them, that would be the one. Them and the Heat for me are the ones like there's like, oh wow, because the Heat, they haven't had a great season so far, but they're doing well now, right? Like they're turning the page for them. They're getting ready. They're being a lot. They're playing a lot stronger. They're looking like the team that came out of the East last year. So that's a different Bulls team. And we played them tight twice, I believe. And we just didn't win. They took it down the stretch. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. We only got how many games left do we got in the season now? We played 2. Well, that's 10 more, right? It's only 10 more now,
10
right?
More, 10 more. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, damn man, it's almost bittersweet, bro. I didn't think that they were gonna be as good as they were, but And the fact that now we're here and you're just starting to see them come into their own, and now the season's gonna end, you know, like
It's like you wish you had 10 more games, right? Like you, because remember,
exactly.
we're only
Like,
short 10 games. Literally,
and a
it
matter of
was.
fact, if you tell me if you get say that there was 20 games left, dude, seeding is
Yeah.
important. The Knicks might be able to rise to like 3-2. You never know, man. I mean, maybe not
Yeah.
2, but 3. I think
Three,
they could get
maybe,
there.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe, maybe. That again, like being fourth is just, it's was surprising. You know what I mean? Catching the fourth seed and then starting to extend that lead on the fourth. That's kind of bittersweet because no one would have expected that. Um, and again, MVP season for Randall. I mean, that's the one that I'm looking at. It's like, wow, if there's anyone who's going to get a nod, it's definitely Randall this year
Mhm.
to get a team that was damn near close to last place last year. You know what I mean? We were
Yeah.
fighting for the
Yep.
last spot. So,
I got it. I got it circulating out there, man. I got Randall for MVP. What y'all think? What y'all think?
yeah, man. What do the fans think, man? What was on the chat? What do y'all think about that? Randall as MVP. Is that something y'all would give him the nod, or you think it's still going to a player like Jokic? I mean, Jokic is playing out of his mind, even without Murray. So I don't. That's not a bad pick. But also Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry is starting to light it up. There's a lot of really good prospects
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, no. It's one of those things where
Joel
it's an
Embiid.
uphill battle, bro. It's an uphill
Yeah.
battle. There's a lot
Yeah.
of good players out there that mean something to my to their teams. And actually, I wasn't even thinking about him, but you can never count him out. Like even Damian Lillard. Like what would Portland
Yeah.
be without Dame Lillard? You know?
Unfortunately, they're on a skid, right? Like they're in a losing streak. I don't know if they got out of it in the last game or I didn't catch that, but I know they were kind of going the opposite direction. And that's a team like
Mm-hmm.
imagine if the Knicks were playing in the West. You know, I think the Knicks would be, at a higher seed than Portland right now. I think they're playing better basketball than Portland right now. Um, you know, and a few other teams too. I mean, with the Lakers losing AD and LeBron, the way they did, I could see the Knicks getting somewhat closer to that fifth and sixth seed in the West. Um, we're in the fourth seed in the East, so that's not that crazy, but still in though, the way we've been playing, it looks like we would have probably been somewhere around 8 or 6 in the West.
That's
You know?
true. That's true. You know what? I think we touched on it a little bit the last podcast, but to revisit it, if the playoffs started today, who would you like the Knicks to play? Who do you think they'd have the best chance at trying to? Because I mean, we know they're going to make the playoffs in some sort of fashion, whether it's the play-in or whatever it is.
Right.
But if they actually had a chance at winning a first-round matchup, who do you think would be a good matchup for them to do that?
If there's a team that I want to see, I because I'm a Knicks fan, I want the hardest road. Like I want to take the hardest road to get to the next round. You know what I mean? Because I want to be able to be battle tested. So I'm not going to look at the Hawks. You know what I mean? I'm not looking to play the Hawks. I think that's an easy victory for us, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's how I feel. Again, it would be like a Charlotte or Miami Heat team, or even Boston. Even though Boston isn't playing up to their potential at this point, but they can put that switch on, especially with Tatum and Brown the way they've been playing. But those are the
I ain't
three.
gonna lie to you though.
Those
I
are the
don't know,
three.
dude. I'm a little afraid of that Miami Heat team. I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, absolutely. But that's I want to see that in the first round. Like, because if we get bumped by the Miami Heat, we see how we play, and then we know for next year what we need to do. You know what I mean? At least the players will know, right? What kind of effort they got to put in, and that's battle tested. I'm not expected to go into win a championship this year. I'm not delusional, right? I'm taking this
Yeah,
as a kind of a test period for us. Like this is the time where we get tested to see if we can stand up to other teams in the playoffs. You know what I mean? To see that next year, next couple of years, what do we come in with, right? And if we bring in a new stud or a new player, a new draft pick or something, right? A new talent to our team, how do we then, bring them to the fold and then help them progress to the point where they got to get them ready for the players. Because that's how coaches, that's Coach Tibbs' mantra, right? It's like you got to learn how to win. And then once you learn how to win, then you got to be consistently a playoff team. And once you're consistently a playoff team, then you start talking about championships. You don't start talking about championships and you ain't never won anything before. You know, so that's the key. At least that's the key for me. You know, as a Knicks fan, I think all Knicks fans are kind of seeing it the same way. There are some sort of in-betweeners, you know, those bandwagon Knicks fans who are talking crazy and they talking about like we getting, you know, to the championship. That's obscene. Like that's unheard of. If we do it, listen, thank our lucky stars. That would be great for New York City. It'll be great for the city. It'll be great to see that happen. But that's like unheard of. Like never heard, you know, never been done.
Maybe I'm bugging out. I don't remember now. That playoff series against Boston. Did the Knicks win that first one? You know, the one where we had Jason Kidd and Rasheed Wallace.
I don't recall. We may have.
I could have sworn
we may have won the first round. I don't remember though. I would have to go back.
Now I don't remember. That's crazy. Because I remember J.R. Smith missing a shot or doing something boneheaded. But I just couldn't remember if that was the Boston series or if we made it to the next series. Wow.
I think Melo got past one. I think that was the 1 year we got past the first round and then we lost. But that was the only playoff run we ever had.
I think that was the one then that we made it past Boston and we lost the next series. And that was also the series where we weren't looking that great to begin with, but then Stoudemire wanted to be a bonehead and punch the fire hydrant in the locker room.
Right. That was Miami game, right? No, that wasn't Miami.
Maybe that's Miami.
What it was. That was Miami.
Yeah, I think that
yeah. Because we played them pretty good that one game, and then he, you know. But again, listen, I'm past that. I'm looking at this year, and like I'm moving past all of that because that one season was interesting. But this seems like a culture shift, right? That seemed like, you know, we brought some players over and we were hoping to get some chemistry. It didn't pan out so well. This seems like it's for real. You know, this definitely seems like it's for real.
Yeah, and it's great that everybody, you know, for the most part, it's a young team. So, you know, they got so much time that they can continue to get better together.
Right.
So that's a great sign.
So here's something interesting that we could probably talk about. So everyone's talking about it. The Knicks pulled off a signing over this last couple of days of Luka. I forget his last name. He's Argentinian. Seems like a pretty decent player. I don't think he's going to see any action this year. But what do you think about next year? What do you think this kid could provide for us next year? You think he's just going to be depth off the bench? Or if you had the eye test?
Honestly, just looking at him, he looks pretty good. I could see him as being a nice backup point guard piece for them. Like quickly comes off the bench in the role of the shooting guard. Obviously, he could be the point guard too, but more of the role of the shooting guard slasher. And then this guy can come in there and be the guy off the bench because I don't know. The Knicks have a lot of options. I'm kind of assuming that going into next season, Rose might get promoted to the starter and you could bring a guy like this off the bench. And if Peyton is still here, he'll get his minutes here and there. But, you know, it could be one of those where Peyton's not around either. I don't know. I don't know. Right. I don't know enough about this guy. I don't know. Offensively, he looks like he has a good idea. He looks like he has a good form on his shot. I don't know his consistency level. I didn't look at his numbers. And I definitely don't know if he can play defense. So
right. And that's interesting because, you know, all we really got to go by is highlights, right? And highlights don't really tell the full story. So, you know, I love that that becomes like a headline news where it's like a player who's not going to see the court becomes headline news in New York. It's crazy. It's like, what?
It ain't the first time.
So weird. Again, he's played professional basketball. So that's the one thing that he got going for him, right? He's played professionally overseas and kind of like the best of the best, right? When you talk about Olympic trials and all of that, he's played in those games.
Yeah.
And he's probably went far because if he played for Argentina, Argentina's usually up there in the Olympic Games. They usually medal. They generally usually medal. Them and Spain are the teams that kind of medal year to year. But yeah, he has good experience, and that's all I can say. Who knows if we catch a gem, right? Like if we get lucky, catch a gem, and this kid is like, off the charts, is an off the chart shooter. I mean, he's 25. I do know that, so he's kind of in his prime right now. So if this is probably the best time to become a Knick, and if he's connected to Pablo Prigioni, he could probably hear about just the influence, right? And just get some wisdom from him about how New York is and just get some background before he gets here. So that's always a good look.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I like the fact that his idol is Prigioni. So that's a good thing because Prigioni has a certain like if when guys say they like certain players in the league, a guy like Prigioni is a hard worker, a consummate professional type guy. So if that's who you're idolizing, as opposed to like these young high flyers and all this stuff, I like that. You already that's one up.
And there's a grit to Prigioni's game. There was a grit to his game, where he got into you defensively. He's not going to give you easy baskets. And if this kid is anything similar to Prigioni, then he can bring in that same kind of enthusiasm on the defensive end. And I think that's kind of like the culture anyway. I think that's what we're looking for when we're looking overseas, when we're looking at draft picks this coming year. I think we're going to look for kids who could bring it both offensively and defensively on the court. So it's going to be interesting, man. But I'm looking forward. We got 10 more games to go, man. 10 more games. It's so crazy.
Yeah, I get a little worried when I think of like overseas players because you don't know too much about them, and the fact that now he's up on the Knicks radar and they're getting him makes me wonder like why nobody else. Now, I'm not saying because Knicks scouting is actually pretty damn good, and it takes some getting used to that. Like oh wow, maybe the Knicks jumped and got on this guy before a lot of other teams saw him. Who knows?
True.
And I do like the fact that usually with these European guys, they're usually a lot older when they come into the league. 25 is a nice age.
It's a great age, right? Because you've already spent a couple of years professionally. I mean, he's probably played professionally from the age of 16, right? Because they start young. So that means he's super experienced already in the pro game. And from what you can see in highlights, he seems to be a really good passer as well. So he has a bit of flash in his game. We just don't know if the speed of the game may be a little different for him, because sometimes that's where the U.S. game is a lot stronger. It's a lot more faster paced games, where overseas they like to slow it up a bit more. So we'll see. We'll see. Again, I don't see him seeing the court this year. So we'll see how it looks next year, if he even gets any minutes next year, and we get to see him.
The other thing is, we also got to see how he adjusts to the NBA game.
Yeah.
Because the pace is different. Even if he's played like in international ball, you play in a specific tournament and you face that type of style of basketball, and but it's not every day. And also, I think the courts are different. The 3-point line.
The rules are different.
Everything.
I think you could goaltend. And it's different. It's like you can actually like block the ball like from off the rim or whatever, right? You don't have to like. It's a bit different. It's a bit different. But again, kudos to him for making the team, and let's see if we see him next year. But I figure I'll bring him up because that was kind of interesting. That it made a splash somehow in New York media. It's like, oh, the New York Knicks did this, and it was like, what? I didn't understand how that was a story.
The thing is, you never know, because obviously there's somebody somewhere. It's not just. I feel like it's a New York thing to leak stories and make everything sensationalized. But I think somebody somewhere is like, this kid could be pretty good. You never know, like a nice piece.
Yeah, there must be some. Well, we'll see if there's some insiders that talk about it. We'll see, but at least for now, it's just a piece. It's an added person
Yeah.
that we're gonna keep for the rest of the season. So
Yeah, next time we get on here and talk, maybe in between there, I'll be doing my Googles. And I'll see what's out there.
yeah, for sure. I mean, we're gonna have to go through the draft days anyway, so we'll see. But this is potentially one of our draft picks, right? This is a kind of a draft move, right? When you think about it, it's like it's the end of the season. The kid's not gonna play. Why not get to him now before draft season starts? And then they're looking at overseas players. So in essence, this probably is a steal. It is one of those CBA moves where they're like, yo, we already got the connect. This kid's probably higher on the board anyway, so we might as well bring him in now, knowing that he wants to come, that he's not actually staying overseas a couple of years, because that's usually what these players do. Like they commit, and then they're like, well, I commit to the draft, but I'm staying, to learn more. And it's like, well, what's the point?
That's the one thing I'm worried about too. I was just thinking the same thing. And plus dealing with the whole COVID restrictions, even though things are starting to open up more, I like to get the guy here.
But the kid is committed, so he's supposed to be here, right? So he's coming over and he'll be here for the foreseeable future with the team, even after playoff run, you know what I mean? And he'll probably then stay in New York to train with the coaches and in the facility, get custom with everyone. And so I think this is like a draft pick, to be honest, but people aren't going to look at it that way, but I think it is.
Yeah, no, hey, if that's the case and that's how they're going to play it out, then very good, very good. And plus he'd be able to get to see them like firsthand. He'd be able to see like, 10 games left, but maybe some limited practice or whatever, and just get used to how everything's working.
The way I look at it, if we don't make a splash for a point guard, I'm looking at this kid as a viable point guard. That's the way I'm looking at it. Like, I think they make this move because they think this kid is a viable point guard option. And I don't see him taking Quickly's minutes, but I could see Rose continue to play the kind of role that he does now, which is that mentor role, whether as a starter or as a bench player. But I think they're going to give this kid a real good look in the summer. And then we'll see. We'll see if we got something.
I'm definitely all for that. Because the other thing is we still don't know what's going to happen in this draft. And maybe they look, actually because
the Mavs are not going anywhere, right?
No, the Mavs are playing good ball. They ain't going to be no lottery pick from them. So
correct. And so this is kind of why I say that why I'm saying this is because if you don't got a top draft pick now, and then you get the steal, you get a steal if we're really doing the kind of scouting that we say we're doing, and we're over there overseas, we're looking at who's the best option at point guard overseas. And if somebody doesn't drop to us in the draft this year, then we have a viable option. And at that point, we can just go for the best player available, right? The most athletic, the best defender, whatever it may be. So this is kind of, in my opinion, is like a draft pick. It's a draft move.
See your point. I wasn't thinking about it like that. The fact that, now that they are probably not going to have a chance at a lottery pick, scouting overseas to see if you can find a gym out there that can give you that same type of value.
Right. And what we do know is he's a winner overseas, right? He's won.
Mm-hmm.
He's won a lot of games overseas, and he plays for a really strong national team. You know what I mean? They usually medals. So, and if he's the starter on that team, the starting point guard, then that means he's playing valuable minutes.
That's a fact.
So,
well, we'll see what happens.
That's a win-win.
Keep making moves, Knicks. I like it. I like how they're moving. This organization has done a freaking
360, bro.
360, definitely, for real.
360.
Like, it's unbelievable. It's crazy.
We would say we're living in the bizarro world right now.
Yeah, man, this is nuts.
It's
really
crazy.
Nuts. It's crazy. I'm with it though. So
love it.
The fact is, now that this week was kind of condensed because we went over so many games the last time around. And really, they've only played the Bulls since we last were on here talking. My question about Julius Randle and the MVP thing has gotten a little traction.
Nice.
As some people have chimed in, and they basically, we went over the whole fact that there's other people ahead of him in the pecking order, right?
Right.
But, and I also know that he may be, I don't think it's 100%, but everybody's saying it, so it might be 100% that he might win the most improved player, right?
That got to be without question, though, right?
I know, right?
Already,
but you never know until it happens.
a Knicks team that was almost dead last year. Now we're in fourth place, and he's averaged damn near 26 points, 28 points a game. I don't know. He's up there in average, and he's almost like how many triple doubles this year? Come on, like you got it. You got to look. He's got to be the most improved player of the year.
I think so too.
Has to be.
But I was just thinking, we might have the most underrated player on our team as well.
Who are we thinking? Most underrated?
A guy who's young and has been left off of every type of rookie voting scenario there has been.
Oh,
he's not a rookie anymore.
RJ Barrett.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I think
can't lose sight of what he's done.
The league has got to, step up and say, hey, man, this kid has made some strides. He's worked on his game in the offseason. He's worked on his shooting. I mean, maybe this is New York, so listen, we know how the expectations are. In the beginning of the year, people were expecting him to come in and start shooting like he's Steve Nash or something.
Lights out, right.
You get to temper expectations. So there was a little pressure.
He is his godfather, right? So
yeah. There was a little pressure there, so he had to calm down because he didn't start off that hot.
Right.
As time has gone by, man, his it's like night and day when you think of how much better he is from the 3-point line. And I think from the free throw line, he was shooting 68, 66% last year. This year, he's shooting 78%.
Which is perfect because that's what we want to see, right? We want to see that maturity. And the kid is 20 years old, bro. He's 20 years old. Can you imagine him in another 2-3 years? He's only going to get stronger. He's strong already. You know what I mean? So, when I look at him, I look at Jimmy Butler, and see how Jimmy Butler plays. That's the kind of player I think Barrett's going to end up becoming. He's going to be a Jimmy Butler type, who can take over games at certain points. And is going to give you that grit and super strong. And once he learns a go-to move, it was interesting. I was listening to something. I forget what I was watching, but it was Randall talking about his mentorship with Kobe Bryant, and Kobe Bryant had told him, it was an interview with Fat Joe, and he had brought it up. He had said,
"Oh yeah,
Kobe Bryant told him, you get a go-to move that no one could stop, right? If you got a go-to move, and everyone knows you're gonna do that move, but they still can't stop it, that's all you need." You know what I mean? And that's super important. Once you got a go-to move to someone, they know you're going to do it. They try to defend it all they want, and you still can drop it on them. Then you become that next, you get to that next level. You know what I mean? And that's I think Barrett's going to get that.
Yeah. I think Julius is very close to having that. It's not perfected yet, but it's very close. It's that little Carmelo thing he does.
Yeah.
It's very close,
back.
dude. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's nice.
He has that nice little that spin fadeaway too off the left corner. Like he usually goes to the right and then he turns. He kind of spins off and turns. He's got a nice little fadeaway. Listen, man, looking forward to seeing more of this team, and it's exciting, man. These games can't come fast enough.
I'm with you, bro. I just, for me, as being a fan of teams like the Giants, the Mets, the Knicks, it's been a rough road, bro. It's been a rough road.
Let me tell you, though, that Giants pick was nice, man.
Woo-wee, let's go.
We'll go there somewhere later, but listen. Woo.
No, it's okay.
We got some there.
The NFL draft is happening right now as we speak. I got it on. It's in the background.
Nice.
Come on, man.
We got
y'all out there, y'all Knicks fans that are Giant fans. This is a big time for us.
That's a fact because we just took one from Chicago. We pulled a fast one on Chicago. because we got the best.
Although,
I think we got that prime gem on this one.
let me tell you something. Everybody hates New York, bro. You see how much they hate New York, that they're colluding against us, that the freaking Cowboys would trade with the Eagles to get freaking Devonta Smith before us?
Listen, and they already did it to us in the playoffs. They did it to us in the playoffs, but they didn't want to play. I was like, come on. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. We don't need nobody, but we still got the right pick. We still came around off.
That's how much you know that when you see, oh, yo, New York's starting to do something over there. Listen, hey, I hate them. You hate them. Listen.
Exactly.
Who trades like that in their same division?
Hey, I ain't mad at it anymore. We made the right move.
Whatever.
We made the right move. You know, we got that triple threat. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, it's very nice, man. So look, Giants are moving in the right direction. Daniel Jones got to get together. But Giants are moving in the right direction. The Knicks are moving in the right direction. The Mets may get it together. The Yankees are going to be there eventually. I know, that's for you, not for me. I don't care.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Slowly but surely.
New York, man. And then you still got that other team. You know, that other team in Brooklyn, whatever. But
listen, we ain't talking about them. We're talking about the Rangers.
Yeah. Rangers, yeah.
Rangers. Cool.
So man, it's a good time.
I'm gonna start sharing what our schedule looks like for next week, man. You know what I mean? So we can talk about that a little bit. Let me do that real quick. All right. Here we go. All right, we came with that fabulous win against the Bulls, right? We're going to follow that up against the Rockets. That's going to be interesting. We got the Rockets game against the Knicks, and then following that up, we got the Knicks versus the Grizzlies. Looking crazy, right?
Knicks and Grizzlies. Oh, man. Okay, so, yeah, this is what we talked about last time around, man. These two games are extremely important. Knicks versus the Rockets, we got to get that W because this is a back-to-back. So Knicks and Rockets, and then, the next day is Knicks and Grizzlies. Got to get that first one, and then hopefully we're able to get the one against the Grizzlies too. But definitely got to get this game against the Rockets.
This is going to be a tough one, right? Because we got the back-to-back. And what's the kid, Porter Jr., that they picked up off of the waiver, right? He had a 50-point game for the Rockets the other day.
Ooh, that boy is
lights
bad,
out.
Man. That boy bad.
Kid's good. He's got talent.
We had a shot to get him too.
I know. It was more of a is he a team guy? Is he not?
Yeah,
there's a lot of
backstory
there.
You never know.
But the kid got game, and he showed it. But I think we're gonna take it to them. I think we're gonna take it to the Rockets. I think we'll get that win. The Grizzly back-to-back game is the one. That's a tough one because they play us really, really good. And I think in our last episode, we talked about whether we win or lose that game. I think I took that one as a win for the Knicks. I think we take the back-to-back. And then we look forward to the Nuggets, and we may get that loss against the Nuggets just because they're just playing out their mind right now. They're playing really good basketball. Jokic is that MVP caliber player. And he's doing it by himself, right? Like Murray's not there, and they got this young kid who's playing point over there. I don't really know who he is, what his name is, but, he seems to be making all the right plays. So we'll see. And then we got a revenge game. Ooh, the revenge game against the Suns. I like that. I like the Knicks on that one. What do you think?
I feel good about it. If that's like the I had predicted they were going to go 4-2. That's the fourth win of this little 6-game set. I'm thinking right. I felt they were going to beat the Bulls. I'm confident that they could beat the Rockets, and I'm confident that even though it's going to be, I think it'll be a tough game. I think they'll beat the Grizzlies, and then we get the Nuggets. That might be a loss, but the Suns is the one that's like the little, hey, if we can win that, very nice. Because the next one is the Clippers. So
right,
I don't know about that one. So yeah, I think they could win that game against the Suns.
Right. So you're looking for a 4-2 record, right? I went with the 5-1.
You
So
did
the
go with
only
the
loss
5-1.
for me is going to be the Nuggets, and I think the Clippers are going to be not 100% with their players.
Oh, maybe resting people.
They may be resting people. They're trying to get right. I don't think this entire season they've played with a full roster, to be honest. Very minimal have they played with a full roster. They're very similar. When I look at the Clippers, I'm looking at the similar with like the Lakers, who've been injured, banged up, and they haven't really played with a full roster yet. The Clippers are running through the same motion. They haven't played with everyone completely healed and ready to go. So I think we're going to miss a couple of players. I think we may even miss, one of the two big studs, either Paul or Kawhi. And I think that gives us the opportunity to take that win. Because Tibbs ain't resting none of our players.
No, if anything, listen, how can I play you guys more?
That ain't happening. He's like, you need to learn how to win. The only way you can learn how to win is that you have to play. So
yeah, I'm sorry. I hope we make the playoffs, straight out and don't have to worry about that buy-in or anything. But once you guys get out there, you're gonna be balling. You're gonna be playing. But you think you play a lot of minutes in the regular season? Wait till the playoffs start.
Woo! Hey, they cutting down to 8. I don't see a 9-man roster. Somebody getting cut.
Theo Pinson is gonna have to wet a towel and put it on Julius's neck while he's inbounding or something. It's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
but
man.
Listen, this has been fun, man.
Yeah, this has been great, man. It was nice experience to get our first live going. Nice to get some chat interaction. Appreciate all of y'all out there. Thank you for coming on. Our peoples, you know who you are. Thank you for supporting and coming on and just giving us a little love, man. We can't do any of this without y'all, man. Y'all are the viewers that make it go. It's the engine, but without y'all, no gas. The car's not going nowhere.
We ain't going nowhere. We stalled, right? Listen, man, this was fun, man. This was fun. I'm looking forward to doing some of these more, especially during playoff time. I know playoffs are coming around the corner. We just got to figure out what that schedule looks like for us. And we definitely plan to go on live. We just don't know yet if we're going to go on before the game or after the game and either we do a pregame or we do a postgame. We just don't know what that's going to look like yet. But we'll figure it out. And stay tuned, man. Keep looking out for us. Hit that like button, subscribe button, share button. You know what I mean? Send us some comments, email us.
Definitely.
We're looking to have a couple of more people on from time to time. So if you're a Knicks fan and you're interested, you would like to be a part of our show, give us a holler. We'll love to have you on and just chop it up with y'all.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better, man. Once again, I'm your man, Ron. That's my brother, John. This is Still Knicks Fans Podcast. This is episode 19, live version.
You already know.
And Jose on the ones and twos holding us down.
That's right.
All the stuff.
Knicks over the Jordan logo.
Let's go, baby. Yo, I'm going to say it one more time. We are here. The Knicks are back. Keep tuning in. Keep supporting. Hey, man, who knows how far this team can go, but, we're here for the ride no matter what. So thank y'all out there. We'll catch you on the next episode. Laters.
Peace. Let's go, Knicks.